sing at class.
My friend.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Yasemin.
And I'm Aliki.
I'm happy to welcome you to the closing plenary session. My journey with UWC started just a year ago in 2023, and I've been involved with many other events and short courses ever since. I can wholeheartedly say that over this past year, UWC shaped me and how I perceive the world drastically. I gained amazing friends and built friendships that later on became my teammates as we created our own youth-led initiative from the valuable experiences we've gained from UWC. In my first ever workshop, they started the introduction by saying that once you're a part of UWC, you're always a part of it. Now, when I look back at it, it is true. UWC never leaves you, and I'm proud to be a member of this family. Having the opportunity to meet people all over the world is a privilege that I'm forever grateful for. Just yet, I know what it means to be a citizen of the world. On that note, I'm giving the floor to dear Aliki.
Thank you, Yasemin. Similarly to you, I have also come to see UWC as a lifelong journey and a lifelong community. My name is Aliki. I am a recent graduate from UWC Adriatic in Trieste, Italy, and the EU Scholarship Program for Cypriot Youth at UWC. I would like to start by saying that I actually applied to UWC twice before embarking on my journey to Italy. So for those of you who applied last year and are thinking of applying again next year, don't lose hope and just do it, because UWC really teaches you so much, and the experiences you gain there will always be with you for life. There's a lot of memories I hold really dear from UWC Adriatic and from Italy more generally. However, the most special UWC memory came after I graduated from UWC, when I visited my best friend in Tokyo, Japan. 10,000 kilometers away from the place we met for the first time, and 2 years later, I realized just how important our friendship was, and how even after UWC, it continued in the same way, with the same warmth and UWC spirit, the same fortitude. The people around us and the UWC graduates we met really inspired us. When her father celebrated her birthday with us in their apartment, and he told me that it was as if now he had 2 daughters, that's when I realized that the friendships really are for life. Coming back to Nicosia for the Peace Forum really taught me a lot about how UWC really aims to grow, not only the movement itself, but also to strive for personal growth while we try to build peace in our communities. Even across this divide, we have tried our best to create this conference, and we really thank UWC Cyprus for the chance to be here today and for the conference more generally. So Yasemin, what has your favorite memory been from the past 2 days?
My favorite memory was today when I had my first ever facilitating experience, and I'm really happy to be doing so. Just a year ago, I was a participant, yet I had the chance to become a facilitator in such a short timeline. I'm thrilled to be giving what I've been taking during this time. I'm looking forward to keep working towards a more peaceful future with the tools UWC gave me. Dear Aliki, what's your favorite memory from the past 2 days?
It was actually also today when I attended a talk by Mike and Peter, who are from UWC Cyprus and UWC International specifically. They talked about both the past of UWC Cyprus and its future. The past being so remarkable. Over the past 5 years, the scholarship program has grown from 6 graduates in UWC Mostar to 64 and counting. And for the future, there's hope that a school might become a part of UWC Cyprus in Cyprus. And as the graduates of the EU scholarship program, we hope to contribute to it, as we hope that the next generation of Cypriot UWCers does not need to go abroad in order to experience peace and to have active involvement in building it in our own island. And now we would like to show a video with the favorite memories of the participants over the last 2 days.
That was a wonderful video. Seems like you guys had so much fun. Now I want to ask Aliki, why do you think is it important to empower and embrace youth in peace building?
Historically in Cyprus, the peace-building process has been very much exclusive of youth, as it has been a tops to bottom rather than a bottoms-up approach. In this light, we would like to give an example and hope for our leaders that they include youth more, as it is very important that our voices are heard, as we are the ones most affected by the conflict and we are the ones living the consequences of tomorrow and the inaction of today. What about you, Yasemin? What do you think?
I believe that young people can bring new ideas and initiatives to the table. As we all know, different generations experience different realities. Therefore, it is really important to give space to young people in order to bring different perspectives, which is an essential to foster change because of the diversification of the varying opinions.
And now we would like to invite the mentors of Group A on youth inclusion to the stage. We have 3 youth talks where 3 different groups are going to talk about their experience. We want to focus on intergenerational wisdom, where both experts and the mentors talk with the youth about the issues. The first 2 mentors are very special. The first one being Nayiri Kalajan, who is from UWC Adriatic, my school. She's very special to our community. She teaches Arabic and English, and it's been really nice seeing her again after graduation. The second one is Kyriakos Toupas, a youth who is a youth worker and trainer who has been involved for over 7 years in youth empowerment and active citizenship seminars and projects. We hope you enjoy.
Hi. So in my track, we were discussing youth inclusion. So I just briefly want to share a few things that we talked about that stuck with us. One of the important points we discussed was about grabbing opportunities. In peace building with the youth, you come across opportunities and you should just be able to take them. And one important point that Mai El-Qaisi made is that we should also be very appreciative of the freedom to be activists, because this is not the case for everyone, and not everyone has that freedom to be an activist. Not everyone has the freedom to speak up because of where they could be born. Another really important point that was made was the importance of youth inclusion that is not symbolic or not merely tokenistic. So youth should be included in decision making that is meaningful and not just on a superficial level where they are given a voice, but not necessarily one that is taken into consideration, which is also something that often happens in a lot of places. And finally, in our last session, we talked about the importance of being open and listening to different narratives and acknowledging that there could be more than one narrative for the same story. And the importance of understanding that sometimes both sides could be victims and that we need to accept, and that sometimes acceptance is actually more important than forgiveness. I do also want to introduce one of our panelists, Shadie Eshou-Sal. So Shadie is, you have already met her. She's from UWC Cyprus team, but what you don't know about her is that she is also a very active member of the Cypriot peace building community, and she's a young peace builder. So please welcome Shadie.
Okay, what we did here for many years, it was the unthinkable. I mean, communicating with the others or communicating with the enemy, as they used to teach us. And now we are not just communicating, we are collaborating, we are being friends, we are making plans for the future, and we have feelings for each other. And for me and for us, this is not just an event, this is the reality that we want to live in. And I'm very proud of us, and you should also be the same. Thank you.
We should also invite Amin and your student representative. You can say it, Amin.
I would like also to invite now Maria Hajibablo.
What's the name of your student?
Sorry?
The name of your student?
I don't know. Huh? I would like also to invite Emilia.
And Amin.
Hi. Hello. Thank you very much for being here today. My name is Emilia, and I am currently a student at the Robert Bosch College in Freiburg, Germany. I am German Greek, and I would like to thank you for giving us the opportunity to ask you these questions today.
Thank you.
My name is Emin. I'm a Turkish Cypriot, and I'm currently in UWC Adriatic, and I want to thank you for coming as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lovely to be here. And thanks for the invitation and to share some thoughts. Yeah.
So our first question that we made in our group today was, how can we specifically as the youth influence our government's decision making while holding them accountable?
Okay, shall I start or you will like? I think the youth has a very strong position in our society in terms of using their power. I think we have to really convince them that they have power, first of all, and that power is not only from above. And when it's from above, power is defined as a very limited resource. What we say in my work is that power is a very plentiful resource that everybody has. So how can we understand this and make it into use? And also, I think youth voices need to be heard, not just to be heard, but also to be transferred into politics, okay? And the way we can do this is by forming coalitions amongst the different sectors of the young people's organizations.
Thank you very much. So a second question that I would like to ask, and we came up with the question with my group as well. So is there any way that student representatives from different schools could meet regularly to discuss the Cypriot educational approach? And how do we not lose hope?
Lose hope. How not to lose hope? Yeah. You want to go?
Yes. So educational systems, the differences of education systems in both parts of the community has been the challenge of us as youth creating our narratives to have the picture of Cypriot identity. And more than before, I would say, we have more spaces available in the buffer zone where the collective student movements from each school could cooperate and arrange a structured meetups with a goal of mission to agree on how they would like to work around the education. And once you collectively come together, I believe in the power of different visions. Sometimes, once you approach from many angles, you can find secret commonalities in them, and that empowers your collaboration. So that's how I think you could engage together.
Can I add? I think one way also to make the dialogue on the education system is to, first of all, to gain information, how the education systems work in the respective communities and what is their basic kind of values and philosophy that the new generation is also exposed to, which is not very representative of the whole truth and of the whole histories in plural, because before you said multiple narratives. Yes, we have multiple narratives of the same event even. So if we ask 10 Turkish Cypriots, they might each one give a very different understanding of the event and the same. So what do we do with these multiple narratives, and what do we learn about the realities of each other's education system? I think you said, somebody said about the enemy, the other is the enemy. So how we deconstruct this with plenary sessions like this and so on. So I think we need funding for that and pressure to the decision-making level as well to change things. Yeah.
Thank you.
So then our next question would be, again, how can we, as the youth, introduce people from other sides of Cyprus, and especially from rural areas, and further away from the checkpoints?
Okay, one way we did it with women is really to go back to them, okay? In most of the villages, they have their own kind of community centers or local organizations. And we found that these centers usually are very active locally, so the youth can use these centers to build relationships locally and then develop together programs, okay, that would both empower them, but at the same time for the youth to hear the experiences of the previous generation. So do it intergenerationally, I think will give them a richness both of understanding what it was like and of their present possibilities for growth.
And I would like to add that it is really important to find the interest of youth, the common interest that we care for our growth. And what we do is we care about climate. And it's in our community, there has been very limited for Cypriot youth to tackle the issues around climate and global warming. And it's been 3 years that we established the local conference of youth, ELCOI, where the global youth statement is written down, that the issues, the climate-related problems are argued and discussed over 2 days of a conference, where it is led by youth for youth. And this output document actually has played a significant role while it was channeling through to the climate conference of parties in every year, where the statements are being delivered to the General Secretary of UN. And there you could see the empowerment of youth for a common purpose to save the planet could come together and have a voice. And this voice is really powerful and has valid points, and especially speaking for Cyprus, coming from a divided island where the environment could unite us for peace, was a testament. And I would advise and promote to find as many common causes that we have in the island as a tool to come together and help us to work together.
Thank you.
Thank you. So it's our last question actually from my group, and it's more of a personal question. So we as teenagers, I'm sure everyone in this room as well, we all want peace, but we don't know where to start from. So I want to ask you, how did you start? How did you take the first action of being a peace builder?
Well, I think in my case, there were two very poignant moments in my life. The one when the events in Cyprus, the coup and then the Turkish intervention happened, I was in the UK doing my master's. So after, I couldn't believe that these things happened, and when I come back, my island will be divided. So I took it on as a personal attack on my own values, on my own understandings of how we solve problems, and also how to address the extremist factions in the respective communities, which the events did not happen out of the blue, right? So when I returned, I engaged since then, so it's over nearly 45 years I've been doing this work of building, peace across the divide with different groups, different NGOs, and so on. And the second thing that I learned that empowered me further to believe in this work was when I was in Boston doing my PhD, and outside the Harvard library there was a poster announcing a meeting between Jewish Knesset members, of their parliament, and PLO. And I thought, wow, and this was in 1982, okay? So I asked, and I attended it, And what I saw happening there between the Jewish and the PLO members inspired me so much, the dialogue and the process, that I said to myself, this is what I want to do in Cyprus. It's not easy to do peace building in divided, protracted conflicts. You're termed a traitor. So you've got to be also aware of how you will be perceived by others who have not been exposed to this different thinking that you have all been, experiencing together these days.
My personal story probably started in 2006 once the crossings were opened and then my whole entire family wanted to pay a visit to their village where they left in 1963, including with my grandparents. And the moment that I cannot forget, and it's vivid in my memory, that once my grandfather reunited his neighbor, the Greek Cypriot neighbor, and they hugged like they have been waiting for the hug for so many years with the tears, felt me accountable for the rest of my life to take action for my community. And this community is a Cypriot community. Yes, I was born in the northern side of the island, true, but I live with the peaceful mindset of having the Cyprus as whole. And during my youthful years until I was 18, the opportunities in the buffer zone was quite limited, and I was coming back coming back and forth to absorb what's available. And I found myself in the UK for my studies. And over there was many Greek Cypriot students, along with very minor Turkish Cypriot students. And I felt this identity crisis because I wasn't feeling belonged or accepted. And I started to question, okay, but I am a Cypriot, so why am I being excluded? Why am I constantly out of the box? And while I was questioning these, I have become the activist personality to find myself trying to tell the unbiased story of Cyprus to all my international friends. And it happened very naturally that led my path to become a peace activist, peace builder in an international arena where I could not imagine as Turkish Cypriot to give speeches. And two and a half years ago, I moved back to Cyprus, and everything was changed. The 17 years old me who left Cyprus didn't find the Cyprus that was dreaming of. However, I must point that the development in the buffer zone is amazing. The involvement of European Union for Turkish Cypriot community along with Cyprus overall has brought such impact that the youth or the adults who would like to take a stance, a proper step forward, are really taking now. And this has given me the power, the push that, okay, now I'm back home, and being back home means now I can continue my activism on my own ground and keep involving with the youth, with my friends whom are reluctant or whom are not feeling comfortable to confront with the reality, so I can hold their hand and we walk together. And that's the way I felt my activism, both in the island and in the national arena, has been moving forward. So thank you for asking this question, because this is very personal. And all of us, once this question being forwarded speaks, then I believe the collective movement towards the buffer zone will be running instead of walking. So.
Yeah, that's it. Just to add one thing about that is not only the buffer zone, but also how we can develop niches of activities for peace, for a peace culture in our own communities, in our own schools, going back tomorrow, you know, or in September, your own schools, in your own neighborhoods. How can you carry this different understanding you gain through these experiential learnings of these days? And that's the way, I think, to inspire other people to join in the active engagement of peace building.
Thank you for
Thank
sharing
you
your
very much.
experiences.
Now that now that we have confronted your questions, I have a question to you. As being youth as well as you are, I know there are some barriers that puts active youth participation in a challenge. And I would like to hear from you if you can address what is making it challenging for youth to be active in peace building, while in peace building and your inclusion in key positions.
Thank you very much for the question. I believe that in order to foster initiatives like this and conversations and places like this where so many young engaged people can come together and exchange, it takes certain pre-measures. So one of them being facilities where you can meet, a space that is given to youth, which also sort of creates a common ground where everyone is invited, where common values exist, for example, respect, mutual values that everyone is sort of bound to. And then also establishing values together while recognizing that we all come from different backgrounds and we all have different experience, and respecting those values.
So with my occasion, so we're so lucky, everyone here is so lucky, we're lucky as well that we're in the same room in an island divided, we're in the buffer zone, and we're having this conference. We are the lucky ones, but the reason why we can't extend this to the teenagers is we still have some biased thoughts in Cyprus, and this is due to some generational damages that the war had in 1974. And in fact, if we don't talk about this, and it's our actually job to like share this around with the youth, with the teenagers, but in a way that we have to be respectful, but in a way we have to share this around, so it should be like having fun, because there are some people that are still really emotional about the 1974 war. So we have to find a way, we have to give activities and events that involves peace building, but in an informal way. I believe it's the small steps we take in this Cyprus will bring peace. That's my personal opinion.
Okay, I haven't prepared anything, but just to take us a little away, today we are facing a big expansion of the information technology, right? And I think the youth, all of us, all of you, yeah, and us, why not, are engaged in this aspect of technology, information, AI, etc., social media all the time. And I want to ask you, how can you use this information technology in a way to spread your values, your own also messages to both the decision makers, and spread it around to your own communities so that we can transform gradually the conflict, as you said, culture that we are surrounded in this divided island. So some innovative ideas.
Yes, I think as you mentioned already, the technology that we have today provides a large platform and a large space for many people to come together without actually having to be there present in person. So it makes it a lot easier and a lot more accessible to a larger group of people. What I really think it takes is a collection of people dedicated to this cause, because I think it takes a lot of effort to establish a network that is large enough to be heard, and also inclusive enough and diverse enough to represent as many opinions as possible. But I think if, for example, on forums like these, you meet people that are willing to do so and that are like-minded, this has large potential to reach many people.
Technology in general gives us the access to reach people that we can't reach. So, and it's a big opportunity, and then we can use, for example, it would be a good idea, for example, make an online forum, for example, because I'm sure there would be some people who would like to talk about their experiences, talk about their ideas, but they don't have the opportunity to join the forum. I would like to give one example, which includes, again, with the Cyprus conflict. It was 2 years ago, there's this Haster Foundation in North Cyprus, and then they gave an online sirtaki competition. And then how it went, I'm a person, and Haster is a foundation that supports peace with culture. So we believe that culture can bring us together. And what we did, we opened an online survey, and then there were people from all around Cyprus dancing sirtaki, Cypriot sirtaki, taking a video, uploading it to YouTube, and then it will get voted as well. It would be lovely if we could do it in the real world, but it's so hard to gather people, this many people in one place because of the borders we have. And it was a great opportunity to gather so many people, extending our culture, because there are many teenagers that are getting far away from the Cypriot culture. We were extending our culture. We engaged so many people, Greek Cypriots and Turkish Cypriots together. And it was something lovely to do, and we would love to repeat it again.
Yes, please do. It's wonderful.
Thank you for your insights. Thank you for sharing everything with us. Okay, now continuing with Youth Talks 2, Peace Education, welcoming to the stage Honorable Sarah and Senya.
Hello. In our track, we engaged in activities on breaking stereotypes using education for peace building and addressing anti-racism. Through discussions, fictional club creations, and games, we explored how to promote peace and equality in our communities. Thank you.
Our group had a series of workshops and activities to reach a common understanding of our common moral values, to explore common peace-building activities that we're engaged in, and also learn about the importance of sports and outdoor education in peace building, very much reflecting the philosophy of Kurt Hahn, the founder of the UWC movement. So it was a great experience. We also ended up with a map of places in Cyprus where one can go and engage in kind of context place-based education. So yeah, thanks to everybody who made it possible and who participated.
And I would like to invite our spokesperson, Tura Vurana, to the stage, please.
And from our group, it's Michalis Zinoviou.
I would like to invite the Educational Director of UWC International, Rada Pillai.
It's my honor to invite the man who convinced me to move halfway across the world to China in the middle of COVID, the director of UWC Red Cross Nordic, Pelham Linfield Roberts. Thank you, enjoy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Firstly, I'm honored to be in the stage, and thank you for answering all of our questions. I am Tura Urana, and I will turn 15 in November. Thank you.
I'm Michalis Zinoviou. I'm 16. I'm so delightful for these 2 days, and I'm having the greatest time. And nice to see you again.
So our first question for you will be, considering you are educating a whole young generation on peace building, how can we overcome the generational trauma of elderly and build bridges within the new generations?
I'll thank you for the question, and firstly, just what a privilege it is to be here amongst so many young people. I think a quick answer to your question is that the actions you take should be designed to build the trust of the generation that you're trying to convince, as a quick answer.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question as well. Be gentle with the older generation. It gathers momentum slowly, and always be educating. So little things. Point out the things that you've learned, and it may not always land, but at one moment, they're going to be thinking about it.
Absolutely, thank you so much.
So I have a question that me and my group came up together as a group, and it's quite different than Tura's, but given that access to education is not equitable, what can or should international and national institutions do to resolve this issue and give more young people an opportunity to have their voices heard in these discussions? Sorry.
Fund a UWC in Cyprus.
My answer, found a UWC in Cyprus.
My last question would be the question that we've come up with the group, the first and the second question. What values have led you to decide that you are going to be a peace builder? Have you ever seen these values being exploited?
Yes. What led me was living in the apartheid regime of South Africa, where white people thought and made into law that they were the superior race, and everyone else had to have an inferior education as well. And so I became an activist at a very early age. The moment my brother was out of the country and at med school, he came back and astounded us, because when you live within a society and you are segregated, you don't feel the effects of apartheid or division. It's only when you move outside that you realize that something was wrong all the time with your society. And so that's what has been my lifelong move. And all my jobs have been very carefully chosen to try and make sure that young people are safe from prejudice.
I think your question was what values led to us becoming a peace builder?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'd share with you this. We talk about the age of idealism being 16 to 19 years old. And when I was 15, in fact, my idealism led me to swear allegiance and pledge my life to my queen and country and join the armed services. And I became an army officer. And I didn't have an open mind. I had a very narrow mind. And as a result of that, I then went through different processes. But part of that was being an army officer and being in contexts of war and conflict. And in the context of Northern Ireland, realizing that I had been misled, that I'd made the wrong commitments, that I had been fed one story and one narrative, and I'd swallowed it. And I became determined then to make sure that other people actually had open minds and could ask critical questions, which I hadn't done. So I wasn't mature enough, I wasn't developed enough at your age to take this opportunity that you have. So the values then led me to working in Cambodia and realizing that there were many different narratives and different stories, and we really had to think critically about what we're doing. And I've led a life since that time, mostly with the United World Colleges, and been really privileged to be in this situation. And your question was also about values which are abused. And I think we have to, as educators who work in such a privileged position, we have to be really self-critical about taking it for granted that we have such an opportunity. And if I just give a context of development, where a book was written in the 1980s and 1990s called The Lords of Poverty, people who traveled to countries and worked in those countries and lived a colonial lifestyle with servants and really amazing quality of life on the back of the poverty that they were there to be working with. And I think in terms of abuse of values, as educators, we have to constantly be self-critical, and are we doing everything we can to be achieving the mission? Thank you for the question.
Thank you for your valuable insights and experiences.
So for the last and final question, since the room is full with young activists, I want to ask you a question that comes out like advice, like if someone wants to follow your road, you share your experiences and wisdom. So I want to ask you, what were the obstacles you had to face when you began your journey in peace education?
For every peace activist out there, there are 10 people who will be against you. But you have to be strong, and you have to see right far into the distance, not just for your generation, but the generation to come. The Gen Z have been said to be one of the most ethical generations that will walk the face of this earth. So you are going to be the difference that we want. You need to use it.
Thank you so much.
I think we need to have the courage to support one another. I think that the journey that lies ahead, or the journey that exists to standing up for the human rights of others, is a really dangerous journey. And you need courage to walk that path. You need conviction to walk that path. You need confidence to do so. But most of all, you need community. You need other people around you to help you walk on that journey so that you can maintain your belief in yourself. And when you're struggling and when you're low, you can ask someone else to give you a hand and help you along and reinforce your commitment to the ideals with which you started the journey. I think we have a question for you, Noah, isn't that right?
Yes, we have a question for you. Want to leave you with a quick Shakespearean quote, because Shakespeare literature is my love. Peace is the opposite nature of a conquest, for in peace both parties nobly are subdued, and neither is a loser. So it's a battle worth fighting for. And Pelham will give you our question. We only have one.
Was that a question, or was that a... Very nice. So the question that Rata and I came up with, and I'm just going to read it, is what is it we can do together, so across generations and in this room, what is it we can do together that is really cool and invitational, that will make your friends and the people that you know from your own communities want to come and get involved? And if I can just frame that again, what can we do which is really attractive, so that they come with passion and enthusiasm, not, that's what we want to know. Do you have any ideas?
Firstly, I do really think that only talking and writing on social media does not really affect those people who are not inclined to join these programs. I think what really they appreciate is that they have some place that they can feel comfortable in, where they would like to join and not to be judged because of their ideas that may be differentiated from ours. So I think that utilizing workshops is a very important thing, and also the gamification of all those ideas that we are going to present for them. Also, there can be carnivals or any other social events that should be happening in the streets, in the open areas, where people who may not join these programs will accidentally run into them and maybe really appreciate the culture that is being there. Thank you.
As Tura said, I really believe that a lot of young people really crave an environment where they can express themselves, say their opinion, and just have positive feedback back. And I really believe that having like open opportunities for people to come and not participate, just try or just have a glance, it's really more beneficial than just writing somewhere, we're doing this and this, because I didn't even know. When I applied for the first time, I had no idea what this thing is. But my personality is that I want to try new things, I want to experience. So maybe that's why. And I believe that 1 in 3 people in here come here without knowing specifically what happens here. So I think that maybe like creating more context or drawing more attention by creating a big party, like something glamorous, would be very beneficial.
So my response is to say, just do it. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for giving us your knowledge.
Thank you to all 4 panelists for sharing their insights and their personal stories. Especially, we really like the point about the age of 16 to 19 being an age of idealism, because we think that if it is nurtured, as UWC tries to do, then we can create really great things. For the last youth talk, we would like to invite Iliana and Darko to the stage.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Iliana, and the past 2 days I was accompanying the group 3A, who focused on the topic of Europe and peace. My group attended a workshop about youth security and peace, and we came to the conclusion that youth is at the forefront of efforts for peace and justice. We also attended a workshop about bridging bridges, in which we realized the importance of moving around freely in our own country. And lastly, a 3A group attended a workshop by the EU Commission about the different opportunities the EU offers to youth, such as Erasmus+, European Solidarity Corps, and many more. At this point, I would like to invite Mrs. Julia Bertezzolo to join this session on behalf of the EU Commission.
Hello, everyone. My name is Darko, and I was the youth mentor of the third group, which explored the thematic unit of Europe and peace. And throughout these 2 days, our group had the opportunity to explore concepts such as advocacy and youth participation. So we started the forum with the first workshop, which was based on advocacy and civic engagement, where the students had the opportunity to learn more about youth mainstreaming, which are the different strategies for achieving intergenerational equity and justice, as well as different funding opportunities offered by the European Union for their peace-building efforts. And today, we had the opportunity to learn about active citizenship and youth participation, where students learn more about the youth ladder of participation. And without further ado, I would like to welcome on stage Mr. Stefan Simosas, the Head of Cooperation at the European Commission.
I would also like to invite Berkan Akbulut, who is going to represent 3A Group in this session.
And I would also like to invite Angelina on the stage. I think we can go now.
So, my question is that how will the Europe Commission profit from the resolution of Cyprus problem?
I didn't hear the first part. Sorry, you were saying
sorry.
how?
How will the Europe Commission profit? How will the Europe Commission will profit? Sorry.
From the
resolution of Cyprus problem.
I think the European Union would benefit enormously from solving the Cyprus issue, because it has a lot of implications, geopolitical, because of course the conflict that is here it has an impact on the relationship that the European Union have with many neighboring countries. It has an impact on many internal policies, such as the custom union, maritime policy, fisheries, transport. So it has a huge impact. It has an impact in terms of security, because part of the island, of course, is legally part of the European Union, but de facto we don't have power on that, so we cannot really check what is going on and what's happening. And we have also limited power on how we can be helpful to the people in this community. So I think solving the problem would be a huge step ahead for the European Union, not least because as the founding value of the European Union is peace, is a big burden to have the last divided country in Europe still as it is.
So firstly, I'd like to thank you both for being here with us today. My name is Angelina Daniels. I'm 17 years old, and I'm interested in the fields of law and politics, hopefully entering the European Union in the future. So my question is, basically one of the most dire issues I'd say Cyprus is facing is brain drain, especially with significant reference to higher education. So what framework does the European Union plan on instilling to decrease the emigration from Cyprus and ensuring Cyprus enhances its socioeconomic and political development, or perhaps the chances of youth working towards peace and unity in Cyprus?
I can maybe try to say a couple of words on that, and thanks really for inviting us here on the stage as well. It's really a pleasure. I think I got the more difficult question, Julia, now. But anyway, let me try to reply. But I think the reply is, of course, a little bit similar to Julia's already, what she said, because I think we have Cyprus here as a, it's a bit of a legacy of our peace project of the European Union, because we still have a divided island. We still are now in a divided capital. This is actually the only such place, not only I think in Europe, but in the whole world where you have a divided capital. And I think this is something, of course, we would need to solve. And I think we have then a lot of different repercussions, of course, coming from that. And I think Julia explained the fundamentals of that we really have, even although the island is all part of the European Union and Turkish Cypriots are EU citizens, but they still do not have the same opportunities as the Greek Cypriots neighbors. And we, of course, then look beyond that, and that comes then to the legal framework, and, almost all sectors, we have basically a division that is very much present on the island as well. And education is also one of those. And I think education is really a problem, of course, because also we have quite a big kind of, economic gap between the two communities. I think statistics are not very reliable on the island, but I think we have something like, 80-20 more or less, if you look at GDP per capita here, of course. So there is also, I think, that aspect that is affecting, of course, how people choose. And what we have been trying to do also with our funding, so also beyond basically the UWC scholarships, we also have another scholarship model or project in place where we also try to give opportunities for Turkish Cypriot students to study in Europe. So that's also something that we do together with the Goethe Institute, a German foundation, so that we also kind of give basically very similar opportunities to students from both communities to basically explore and see what they want to do. Of course, I think the issue we have then is that, because of the situation of the island and because of the economics and everything else, is that, you of course have then people maybe not often returning. But I think it also, like, the more we get towards a more normal situation, that the more or less conflict we have here, the more there is kind of cooperation, more opportunities, there are more investments. Of course, I think people will eventually come back, and I think that's basically what we need to strive for.
Thank you very much. Do you have any questions for us?
Of course we do. My question, can you hear me? So my question is, what is, in your opinion, the most attractive aspect for young people in Cyprus to be part of the European Union?
So my idea of the most attractive aspect of European Union, I think starting with, it's the events like this that European Union actually realizes that the two sides of island should not be two but be coalesced into one, and it just understands that each and everyone has their own rights and they should be equal all around the island, so that these events and the events like this, they foster peace and attractive other people most than anything, in my opinion.
I have To add to that, I'd say the plethora of opportunities the European Union actually offers. So, you know, the incentive, for example, with global warming, the EU Green Deal, which is very good, giving funding and encouraging, especially in countries like Cyprus, where we have a lot of sun, we can take advantage of the solar panels and also pay lower electricity, or with programs like Erasmus Plus, allowing us to enhance our knowledge and go to other countries for different workshops, maybe with reference to leadership, with entrepreneurship, you know, forums like this, the never-ending opportunities that the European Union gives us, I think is the greatest thing. Thank you.
Let me also ask a question. I think this is actually probably a very difficult one. So you know, and I think it's more like a question really to everybody. But just to kind of small anecdote as well, because we are old in our office, or at least, you know, older than you, most of it. But I think we also have some people who are quite good with, you know, the AI, and so we used the ChatGPT the other day, asking the question basically, so how many days have passed since, you know, with a solution to the Cyprus problem? And I think that's basically from 74. So, you know, if you go from 63 or later, of course, you would even have more days. But I don't remember exactly, but ChatGPT came back with an answer that 18,560 days or something along that sort. So anyway, it's a long time. And of course, you know, a lot of people have been thinking about it. So how do we actually get to a solution? But you being now here today, basically, and how do you really think you as youth, maybe with our help and help with everybody in this room, how do we actually how do you think you can make a difference? How can you actually influence the leaders of the communities to actually take that step that we now, after 18,500 and so days, to actually get a solution? What do we need to do really collectively to make a difference, to actually make a stop of that clock ticking forward?
So my answer to your hard question would be, as technology improves a lot with every passing day, the youth, as we are, starting to realize that we're not we're just the illusion of our identities and our nations, but at the same time, we're just humans. So as we are coming to a common basis through the networks and social media platforms, whatever you want to call it, just basically the tech, I think we can understand that we are the same, and no matter what, we need the same things to survive, same things to cherish, same things to be happy. I think if we were to make these things clear to our leaders, or if we were to make them realize that we're not so different at the same time, opposingly to their ideas as well. So if we were to actively take a part as the youth of the both sides, showing that we are all the same, would be the biggest and the most effective step we could take.
Since we have few minutes left, maybe I will ask another question. I take advantage of this opportunity because I liked very much the question that you asked before about also the fact that a lot of young people are leaving the country. So what would make you come back? I mean, you are an international student, and I think this is very positive that you go abroad, you do your experience. And I actually was asking to all my colleagues if they have a way to track back and to see how many of these students who have been abroad and enriched their experience have come back. What would make you come back?
So firstly, I'd like to start with why we leave the country, why we leave Cyprus. I think Cyprus is one of the countries that has the most opportunities, given its geographical position, its resources, its community, its people, north and south. The reason we leave the country is because of the lack of quality of education, I'd say, higher education. Maybe if investment was given, perhaps by the European Union, on enhancing the quality of education, a lot of people would stay. And to further take it a point further, even if education was, better in Cyprus, job opportunities are not a lot. The starting wages for people entering a new industry, very low. So until we can increase the quality on all domains, then I don't think we'll find a solution.
That means we need a UWC Cyprus school. Yeah.
Yes.
I think we got the message.
Thank you for these insights. Slowly coming to the end of our closing plenary session, I want to welcome Faith Abiodun on stage, who is the Executive Director of UWC International.
What an exciting couple of days we've had. I don't think I've ever had so much cheering for a new UWC school anywhere in the world. So with all these commitments, surely we have to do it at some point, right? So, yeah. It's been really special. You must all be very excited. I don't believe this is the end of an event because you look way too excited to be ending an event. It looks like I thought you may be tired, but clearly you're not. So we might go for an extra 1 or 2 days if you keep going like that. It's been very special. Thank you all so much for the chance to join you, the chance to be a part of your own experiences, and Youth Talks look just beautiful. This is proper intergenerational dialogue, and I couldn't be more excited to be a part of it. What we've seen this last 2 days has been real, authentic engagement. This is your future. This is not something you're going to read about. You're not going to watch a movie about it. You are shaping it. This is going to be your story. And I can only imagine what stories you would tell to the next generation about where you were, what role you played, and how you helped to shape the future of Cyprus. So for all of you, young people who have been a part of this, please give yourselves a huge, huge round of applause. Let me also thank all the educators, the mentors, facilitators, everyone who's been in the rooms, on the hallways, taking people on trips, checking in at night. It takes a lot of work to put something like this together. But of course, the essence of our coming here is to reimagine or to imagine the future of Cyprus and to think about what peace would look like. I'll read a short quote from a former Prime Minister of Canada who less than 70 years ago, 67 years ago exactly, was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. And in his name, the UWC in Canada was established. Lester Pearson says, "How can there be peace without people understanding each other? And how can this be if they don't know each other? How can there be cooperative existence, which is the only kind that means anything, if people are cut off from each other, if they're not allowed to learn more about each other?" And he says, "I realize that contact can mean friction as well as friendship, and that ignorance can be benevolent and isolation can be pacific. But I can find nothing to say for keeping one people misinformed about others. More contact and freer communication can help to correct this situation." You could have thought he was speaking to us in the room today. Almost 70 years ago, the words have never been truer. How can there be peace if we don't understand each other? And what we have done here for this last 2 days, I believe, has accelerated the process of understanding each other. And this partnership that we have built for the last 5 years with the EC has accelerated this potential of getting to know each other. Peace is possible. peace will happen. What we are seeing here on the island today, I can assure you, will not be the case forever. And it's up to every single one of you to decide that you will be a part of it. You're not going to stand on the sidelines. You're not just going to tweet about it. You will play a very active role in helping to shape the future of Cyprus. The truth is, you cannot change what you don't understand. And what you're doing here is building the blocks of understanding. You've got to explore the issues as they are. You've got to get to the heart of what makes people do what they do. Many times we like to outsource decision-making to governments and political leaders, but this is really about people to people, humans to humans. Generations change. The people in power today will not always be in power. The people who are in power today were not in power 50 years ago. So as long as we keep complaining that someone else hasn't done something, we're not preparing ourselves to be different. In 10 years, in 15 years, in 20 years, you will be the ones making the decisions. The question is, what will your children say about the role you should have played? Right now, it's a bit convenient to accuse others of not doing the right thing. But very soon, you will be the ones being accused. How would you like the story to go? That's the charge for you. That's the challenge. Everyone has a role to play. Tony Blair, who was Prime Minister of the UK, says that each generation finds the world that they inherit, but they shape the world that they leave. You will be responsible for what happens in Cyprus going forward. So now we're in this space of education, of learning, of imagining, but very, very soon we'll be in the space for action, tangible action, not simulations. You will be in the negotiating rooms. You will be the ones whose voices people crave to hear. Will you be different? Or will you say, it's just so difficult? It's been difficult for so long. It doesn't have to be that way going forward. And that's the privilege that we have to be a part of this role, and it's a challenge we accept. We want to be a part of this. The mission of the United World Colleges is to make education a force. A force because left to itself, people don't want to move. Left to ourselves, people like to stay apart. But education is a force to bring us together. It's a force because we can't afford to take this, what Martin Luther King called the tranquilizing pill of gradualism. Over time, we might get there. Let us continue to walk towards it. No. We need a force to move us a bit more forward. So my charge to you is to decide that you will help to accelerate this process. It's going to be an intergenerational process. We've met parents who are part of this. Generations are changing, both looking backwards and looking forward. And we will continue to work together alongside you, side by side, step by step, to ensure that the future generations don't ask us, what did you do? They will be able to see it. The evidence will be clear. We did not stand by the side. We're with you in this, we're committed, and we will do this. We're together. Let me close by thanking every one of you. This has been really transformational. It's been a chance to listen to your stories. When we got here yesterday, I said, we have to listen to each other. And we have to listen to understand. I learned a little while ago, and someone made a statement to me that has stuck with me, about the importance of listening and engaging constructively. To not be eager to win an argument. I was told, every time you win an argument, the relationship suffers. Think about it. Every time you win an argument, the relationship will suffer. Let's not try to win arguments. Let's build relationships. Listen actively. And I believe what we have done here this last 2 days has called for a lot of listening. I have been listening. I've enjoyed watching people come together. We watched a powerful documentary this afternoon. All these engagements have given us space to listen, to engage. And I want to thank those who have made it possible. Our partners at the EC, it's been really special to work with you for so long. We have a long way to go, but we are going to do this together, step by step, hand in hand, we will make a difference in this place. So thank you so much for those of you who are here in the room and for those who are far beyond this. I thank everyone who's with UWC Cyprus. When we got together 2 nights ago, I was able to single out and celebrate Mike and celebrate Mariana and Lara. Ozzy, where are you? Are you in the room? Ozzy, please give Ozzy a huge round of applause. Shadia, where are you? Where's Shadia? She's still in the room? There you are. Shadia, thank you so much for all that you do. Eralp, where's Eralp? There you are. I thank everyone who's been part of the organizing committee. This has been more than a year in the making. And I know there are lots of names that I will begin to butcher and lots of names that I will miss out. But everyone who has worked behind the scenes, your work is greatly appreciated. And for our colleagues from UWC International, Radha, Peter, I see a few more people. Where's Louise? Louise is over there. Claire, when you see them, there are lots of people who've been a part of this from behind the scenes. Berian, who is Cypriot, we're so glad you could be a part of this with us as well. Lots and lots of you have worked very, very hard. Now, here's my final charge. It's an American anthropologist whose writings I've really enjoyed reading. Her name is Margaret Mead. Margaret Mead has a very kind of famous quote, and we collect quotes because they inspire us. And she said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Never doubt. We don't look like much, but never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. It's the only thing that ever has changed the world. And we are going to change the world." Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Faith, for your inspiring message. Actually, this is not the first time that I hear your speeches, and it never fails to amaze me how you carry your words and your message. So thank you so much. Yeah. Now we would like to invite Giulia Bertezzolo to deliver her closing remarks for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will be very brief because I know there is a concert outside, so I don't want to take time to that. And I've noticed that you had a lot of fun besides working, and this is very good. I think work doesn't need to be boring. On the contrary, I think you know that you are in the right place when you are having fun working. So this is my first observation. The second, I've been around talking with a lot of people, and together with my team, we collected a lot of good ideas, not just from you, but also from your parents, from the educators, etc. What I wanted to tell you is that we take it seriously. I mean, whatever you have done here is listen, not just listen, but we will follow up on that. Just bear with us if it will not be as fast as you wish, but we will follow up to that. So just be reassured, everything you said has been taken seriously, and we will follow up. I would like to think that this is not just a one-off event, but it's a start of a journey. As I said yesterday, we really need your help in this island to make what we were wishing for in these 2 days becoming a reality. So stay in touch. We will follow up to this. And thanks a lot for this high participation and for your ideas. And thanks a lot to everybody who organized. I know very well that the logistics is sometimes more tiring and difficult than actually participating in an event, even if this event has been very engaging and energy, implying a lot of the use of a lot of energy. So thank you very much, and see you soon, hopefully, and continue your journey. Good luck.
Thank you for the speech. Now I invite Michael Johnson head of UWC Cyprus, to do his closing remarks.
Hi, everyone. The good thing about coming last is I don't have to say very much at all. Thank you, Faith, for coming over and your inspirational speech. Thank you, everybody, for participating. I want a big shout out for the 5 schools that came out. If you're from one of the schools that helped us join, shout out for yourselves. Thank you to Norway. Thank you to Maastricht. Thank you to Bosnia, to Mostar, to Adriatic, and who did I forget? Robert Bosch. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Gary. Yeah. I know most people have thanked everybody, but there's a team of about 6 or 7 people who've been working on this for about a year, trying to make things work. If you're in the room, Lara, stand up. Darren, stand up. Liana, stand up. Jaden, stand up. Cecilia, stand up. Marios, I think, is away. Peter, stand up. Eralp, stand up. Ozzy, where are you? Stand up. You're there. Shadier. Thanks, everybody. You guys made this thing work, and I think it's a testament to you all. Thank you. So a little housekeeping point. We've been dying to get a group photo. When you leave, there is something going on outside. When you leave, Ozzy and a photographic team are going to try and grab you outside the door, just in front of the tables. We're going to see if we can get everybody together for a group photo. It's going to be difficult. There's no different levels. The photographer agreed to stand on a table and have a go. So we're going to do that when you leave. So it might be a bit of a squash. I think that's the only opportunity. The only thing I'd like to say, picking up on panel 2, and I believe it was Michalis who was sitting here, who said one of the things we should be doing to make peace and activism better is we should be having a big party and we should be enjoying it. So everybody, outside, we're having a big party. Thank you and enjoy it.